Hi everyone, it's Mr. Manoog. Welcome to your last week of online math learning. Congratulations, you guys made it this far. Just letting you know, the next 2 weeks we are going to just review whatever we have learned so far. Okay, so if you look here, for this week we are going to do the following. So I can create an equation from a table of values. I can predict an unknown from an equation. So we are going to use this equation format, y equals mx plus b. Okay? Now, I will just briefly talk to you about this and then we will do lots of examples. So don't worry. Make sure you pause this video so you can actually write this on your notes. So y equals mx plus b. What do they actually mean? So my y is definitely my y value. Okay, m is my slope, x is my x value, and then positive b is my y-intercept, and I will explain that to you later. So this formula only works with the following, okay? So are my x values increasing by 1? It has to be, okay? It has to always increase by 1 in order for this formula to work. Now, if you look at your y value, what is the pattern? Okay, if it increases, then your m value is positive. If your y values decrease, then my slope is going to be negative. Okay, now to find my y-intercept, you need to find y when x is at 0. Okay, so we will be referring to this as we go through the questions. Okay, so as always, we should look at our grade 8 Google Classroom. Okay, we're gonna just do a worksheet together, very similar to your worksheet. Now let's look at this one. Use the following diagrams to complete the table of values. Use your knowledge of creating equations from a table of values to write down the equation for each pattern. So before we do that, I am going to write down, sorry, just give me a second here. Okay, so I'm gonna write down the formula, which is y equals, that is too small, y equals mx plus b. Okay, so let's just fill in the tables first. So let's see, for my first picture, how many toothpicks are there? There are 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4. Let's write that down. How about the second one? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7. How about the third one? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now you need to find the fourth and the fifth one, right? So before we do this, let's see if we can do y equals mx plus b. Okay? So my first question is this. Are my x values increasing by 1? So are they increasing by 1? Yes, isn't it? My x values are increasing by 1. So let's look at my y values then. What's the pattern? So from 4 to 7, you have to add 3. From 7 to 10, you have to add 3. So my y values are increasing, so that will be your m value. Okay, so your m is going to be 3. Now I guess if we know the pattern, then we can figure out what is 4 and 5. So for picture number 4, I'm going to have 13. And then for picture number 5, I have 16. Because we are adding by 3, isn't it? Now let's look at the b value. How do we find this b value? It says here to find y-intercept, find y when x is at 0. So you know how this one is picture 1, isn't it? Now I know it doesn't make sense. What is picture 0? But you know how if you're going down and you're adding 3, if you are going up, you're going to minus 3, isn't it? So 4 minus 3 is going to be 1. So when x is at 0, my y-intercept is 1. Therefore, using y equals mx plus b, so using y equals mx plus b, my formula is going to be y equals 3x plus 1. That's it. Y equals 3x plus 1. Now it says here, how many toothpicks in the 20th image? So you can keep going until you get 20, but that is not efficient, right? That's why we made an equation. So how many toothpicks in the 20th image? So now it wants you to substitute. So if you know that your equation is y equals 3x plus 1, then the 20th image, this is your x value, isn't it? You have to sub it in. So it's going to be y equals 3x plus 1, y equals 3 times 20 plus 1. So I should get y equals 60 plus 1, and I should get 61. Okay? There are 61 toothpicks. 61 toothpicks. Okay? Now, if you don't believe me, you can keep going and see if you get 61. And it will be 61. Okay? So, y equals mx plus b. Alright. Let's move on to the next one. Now, for the next one, let's see this one. Let's look at this pattern, okay? So again, I will keep writing this one so that way we are familiar with it. Y equals mx plus b. So for the first picture, how many toothpicks are there? 1, 2, 3. There are 3 of them. Let's look at the second picture. How many toothpicks are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5 of them. For the third image, how many toothpicks are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There are 7. So now we can look at our y equals mx plus b again. So let's ask yourself the 3 questions. Number 1, are my x values increasing by 1? So let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, they're increasing by 1. Yes. Now look at the y values. What's the pattern? Okay, from 3 to 5, you're going to add 2, isn't it? From 5 to 7, you're going to add 2, right? So because of this, they are consistent. That will be my m value. My m value will be 2, okay? So now we can actually predict what 4 and 5 is. So at picture number 4, my toothpicks will be at 9. For 5, it will be at 11 because we are adding 2 each time. Now let's look at B. B is my y-intercept, right? B is my y-intercept. So if you look over here, it says here, to find y-intercept, find y when x is at 0. So if you're adding 2 going down, then, to go up, you have to minus 2, isn't it? So 3 minus 2 will have to be 1, okay? So my b value is 1. So therefore, my equation will be y equals 2x plus 1. That's my equation. Now, how do I know if my equation is correct? Well, you can use substitution, right? So like, for example, you know how this is y equals 2x plus 1, right? What if we substitute? What if I say for the first picture, y equals 2 times 1 plus 1. So when x equals 1, is my y 3? Let's see. 2 times 1 is 2. 2 plus 1 is 3. Very good. We are correct. Okay? So how many toothpicks in the 20th image? Okay? So my 20 image, that will be my x value. So let's just substitute. Y equals 2 times 20 plus 1. So y equals 40 plus 1. Y equals to 41. Okay? So how many toothpicks in the 20th image? There are going to be 41 toothpicks. Okay? It's pretty easy. Okay? So if you want, please pause the video okay, if you need some time to work on these questions. Now, we only have 5 minutes left, but you know what? I might make another video just to finish up everything. So hopefully you guys are getting the hang of this. So let's just keep going. Pattern 3. So the first picture, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, next one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Alright, hopefully I counted everything correct. So let's do this one. Let's just go through again. Are my x values increasing by 1? Yes. Okay, they're increasing by 1. So let's look at y. What's the pattern? So from 9 to 14, you are adding by 5. From 14 to 19, you're adding by 5. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So you can predict 4 and 5, right? Because you're adding by 5 each time. Okay? So because of this, my m value is going to be 5. Okay? Now, for b, it says here, how do you find the y-intercept? To find y-intercept, you need to find y when x is at 0. So, when x is at 0, how many toothpicks are there? Well, if you're adding 5 going down, you need to minus 5 going up. So, when x is at 0, my y is 4. And therefore, my equation is going to be y equals 5x plus 4. Okay? And now it says over here, how many toothpicks in the 20th image? This is going to be my x value. So we just need to substitute, isn't it? So 5 times 20 plus 4. Okay? So y equals 100 plus 4, and I should get 104. There's going to be 104 toothpicks. Okay? So, again, please pause the video. You know what? I'm just going to quickly look through this. Pattern 4 is going to be the same thing again. Pattern 5 is going to be the same thing again. Pattern 6 is the same thing again. So we're not going to go through this one. What else? Let's see. Let's just go through your assignment. Okay, so I'm going to use 8.1 as an example. Now, create an equation from a pattern. So if you look at your homework, again, are my x's increasing by 1? Yes. Okay, you just have to figure out what the pattern is. Okay. Now you're probably going to ask yourself, Mr. Manu, can my m value be negative? Can this value be negative? Yes, it can be, right? It can be. So this is your homework. You actually have 2 worksheets that needs to be done. Okay. So again, this is when the table is given to you. You just have to figure everything out. Okay. Now let's look at the next one. Now for this one, it's pretty much the same idea. It's just that you just need to look at the graph, and then you need to put your x and y value. So it's just an extra step that you need to do, okay? So an example would be this one. Let's find this point. It's going to be 1, and y will be at negative 2, right? Now for this point, 1, 2, x is at 2, and y is at 1, okay? And so on. And then you need to find your pattern, okay? Anyways, that is pretty much it from me. Again, please save it for Google Meet if you have any questions, okay? Let's see. I'm just gonna put this again so I can pause it. I can pause the video. But yes, I hope all of you have a great day.